Peace, family. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. This is my spoiler review of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I only saw this one time. I saw it um, Monday, and I didn't. I usually like before I give a review on a movie of this caliber, like to see it twice. So what I'm giving you is first impressions. Um, as you know, I was a little bit underwhelmed by seeing this movie because of the trailers. And I was right. The trailers basically gave away just about everything in the movie. Like there's things in the movie that you haven't seen on the trailers, but if you've seen the trailers, you've basically seen the movie, which is what I said before. Um, just if I had to give just my initial impression after leaving the theater, I would say that the movie was entertaining, the movie was good, but it was flawed. Somebody, I don't know which reviewer said it, but he said that it was a beautiful mess. And I kind of agree with that. A mess in the sense that there's some major plot holes and plausibility problems in the movie, but it is executed so well that you're having a good time while you're watching it. Because as you know, I did a video a while back on how you should critique a movie. And when you see a movie for the first time, I said that it's sort of like having sex. Um, you have to accept it for what it is. It's like when you're having sex with somebody that's new, you don't sit back and sort of sit outside of yourself and analyze everything that's going on sexually. Like, oh, well, you should have moved your tongue over here. Maybe if you hit it this, you don't do that because you have to be into the experience, you know? So you're all in. When you're seeing this movie and when you're having sex for the first time, you're all in. And either you were satisfied by the experience or you were unsatisfied by the experience. And to me, that's how you review a movie. Like you can't go to a movie for the first time and get a pen and pad and analyze and break down everything that's going on because you're not enjoying the movie. You're not enjoying the movie experience. The critique comes afterwards, whether you enjoyed it or you didn't. Now, I enjoyed this movie. I was all in from the very beginning. Like when they introduced Bruce Wayne and showed how he was there during the destruction of Metropolis and how he lost a lot of people in his building, how he saved a little girl and stuff like that, all stuff that you've seen in the trailer. Um, I was vested in this, you know. Um, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'll just say that Ben Affleck's Batman is probably the best version of Batman that we've seen on the screen, even better than Nolan's, because Nolan's was um, more grounded in the reality of, like more grounded in realism. This one was more true to the comic book, or if you like, the Dark Knight, Arkham series, and all that. That's what this Batman was more true to. And he made a compelling Bruce Wayne because if you don't care about Bruce Wayne, you don't really care about Batman. And his Bruce Wayne was very good. Ben Affleck was probably the best part of this movie. So, you know, there it is. You know, um, I was the first act I was all in. There's some when I say that it's a beautiful mess, so when I'm using that from another reviewer, there are some plot holes in this movie that really, really, you know what? I'll just say this: if you take out the Dawn of Justice and all references to the setup for the next, you know, Justice League movie, and make this a standalone movie, it would have been excellent, if not perfect. Because my major parts in this, my major flaws with this, primarily about, I say about 80%, 85%, are the fact that they use so many scenes that I thought were unnecessary just as a justification to set up this Justice League movie that everybody knows is coming. Now, the reason why I think that this is dumb is because why are people acting as if there's some, like you're under the clock, like you got to beat the clock in order to get the Justice League movie started? You don't have to. This could have been a standalone movie. You know what I'm saying? And if you wanted to do, because all right, I'll use a perfect example. The first Iron Man was Marvel's first cinematic movie, right? Under the Marvel banner, where they had full control over their property and their product. Iron Man is a good standalone movie. You can see that movie at any point, any time. You can go back and revisit it and appreciate it for what it is. It set up the Avengers with a post-credit scene. That's it. And Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice could have did the exact same thing. Now, some people say, "Oh, well, if you do that, you're biting off of Marvel." Yeah, but I feel like the best way to combat that type of thinking, if people say, "Oh, well, you're biting off of Marvel," is to say, "Listen, just be honest and approach it head on and say, listen, Marvel set the paradigm for superhero movies. They raised the bar. So all of these tropes that you see that we're utilizing, that's just a part of the game now. But what DC wants to do is take those tropes, use them, but we want to take things to the next level and create a new paradigm. Boom, done. That's all you got to say. You can't avoid it. There's certain things that happen. Like when you go to see superhero movies, you expect post-credit scenes. You just expect it. When you don't get it, you're disappointed. You know? So that's how DC can avoid that. Um, but I don't like the fact that they weave the Justice League stuff into this movie. Had they just left this alone and made this an ideological battle between Batman and Superman, then it would have made sense. It would have been less messy, I should put it. Because it's some things in here, some major things in here that they did that are problematic. But to me, it didn't take away from the whole experience. My initial thoughts walking out of the theater was, wow, this was good. The fight between Superman and Batman was perfect to me. Now, there are some things, there's some controversy about how the fight ended. I didn't really necessarily have a problem with that. Um, there's some controversy about the motivations. I didn't really have a problem with that, to be honest with you. My problems are more plausible. For example, remember in Captain America: Winter Soldier, um, when the Winter Soldier was after Nick Fury and he had him in the he shot some device underneath his SUV and blew it up, flipped it on his back, flipped it over, and Nick Fury is injured and he sees the Winter Soldier coming toward him. The Winter Soldier comes, opens up the car door, and then there's a hole where Nick Fury has used this device to drill through the concrete, through the car, through the concrete, and escape. Now, on a plausibility level, why didn't the Winter Soldier could have went down in the hole and caught Nick Fury? It's not like, how far could he have gotten by doing that and the time it took for him to walk over there? It's certain things that you don't nitpick about. Like it was a cool scene. The concept, you know what I'm saying? So you forgive that. What you don't forgive is this glaring plot holes. Like my number one, and I'm kind of skipping forward, is how the fuck does Lex Luthor know that Bruce Wayne is Batman? Isn't that a big plot hole? Like he's sending, like the whole thing that they're trying to present is that Lex Luthor, the mastermind, is using the machinations and playing 3D chess, and he's trying to do is arrange this fight between Superman and Batman so that Batman can kill Superman. So when Batman, steals the kryptonite from his possession, He like sort of has a smirk on his face because, yeah, that's what I wanted you to do. How the fuck does he? Then he's sending Bruce Wayne notes about things that he could not possibly know about. Sending him notes saying, "Oh, you let your family die. You did this." How the fuck does Lex Luthor know that Bruce Wayne is Batman? That was never explained. But that was a part of his master plan to get Batman to fight Superman, to get Batman to basically rile Batman up so that he can steal the kryptonite and use it against Superman to finally kill him. That was his plan. But that whole plan rests upon him knowing who Batman was. So he can send those notes to Bruce Wayne. Uh, isn't that like a major glaring plot hole? So this is why I say it's a beautiful mess, because if you go and see it, you will have a great experience. It's a good time at the movies. The fight between Batman and Superman is great. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was the length of it was perfect. The way that it went down, and you got to see how a fight between Batman and Superman would actually go, with Batman being the master planner that he is. Um, the introduction of Wonder Woman was great. Was definitely crowd pleasing. Gail Gadot made a wonderful Wonder Woman. Like I had absolutely no problems when she showed up on the screen and when she started doing her thing. She was excellent, and I'm looking forward to seeing her solo movie, which should have happened so many freaking years ago. But I'm so glad that and I'm excited about it. I'm really interested to see how that movie is going to be. Um, but Doomsday, nah, 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 nah. you know, ah, wasn't really feeling the whole last act, the third act. Um, I felt even, you know what? I'll say this. Let's say that we have Doomsday in the movie, and that whole fight goes down the way that it goes down, with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman fighting him, and eventually taking him down. I think that this would have been much more effective had we not seen that trailer, and the trailer just basically busts its load and give away the whole shop. Had we not seen that, and had you taken the Dawn of Justice stuff out of the movie, I think this movie would have been completely satisfying. And other than that major plot hole right there, that has to be explained. Like, there's no way around that. That's a flaw. No way around it. That's why I say I'll give this movie like a 8 or 7, 7 or 8. And I can totally understand why people hate it. Don't get me wrong, because some people can't just sit back and enjoy a movie and just experience it for what it is. Some people, when you see those plot holes and when you see those points, they it takes them out of the experience. And I don't begrudge them that. I mean, I understand, because if you want to pick this movie apart, you will have a field day. And that's why I say it's a beautiful mess. Because if I sit back, if I see this movie a second time with a more critical and analytical eye, I can take it apart, boy. Ooh, I can take this movie apart. There's a flashback, well, not a flashback, but like a dream sequence in the movie involving Batman in the desert, and Superman has an army for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a whole dream sequence that looks beautiful, has some great action in it, but made absolutely no sense in relationship to the rest of the movie. Then there was a part in the movie where there's where you see this after the dream sequence is over. He has another. I think it's like the Flash, and that's the thing that I didn't even realize until after the movie. DC is going to use a different version of the Flash in the movies than the Flash that we see on television. Big fucking mistake, because you've already got people's minds wrapped around the concept of that Barry Allen on television, and then you're going to introduce a new one in the movie universe. Why can't you use Barry Allen on television? You don't think that that would be he would be excited about being in a movie universe after coming from television? What, is he too busy? Is there going to be a different Green Arrow? That makes absolutely no fucking sense. No sense to me. I don't understand that. So when I saw this Flash show up in a Flashpoint, I'm like, first of all, why? What sense? You couldn't really understand. I didn't understand what the fuck he was saying. He was trying to communicate with Bruce Wayne, could not understand what he was saying, and didn't even know who the hell he was. And the outfit looked whack. Well, if that was the uniform that they're going to use for the new Flash, that shit is whack. So that was another thing. It's like you threw that in there. If you had taken that completely out of the movie, it wouldn't have affected the movie in one way, shape, or form. You know, the dream sequence I can sort of, kind of tolerate because at the end of the sequence, um, Batman imagines Superman, putting his hands through his chest and killing him, or something like that. All right, I can get that. I don't see the purpose of it, but it looked good. It was executed well, and it didn't take me that far out of the movie because at the end I knew that he was having a dream. So cool, he's having nightmares about Superman taking over and blah 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 blah. I can get that. I can take that. Um, the fight itself is my favorite part of the movie. Um, you totally understand why Batman is going against Superman. The only thing, and this is why I say we get back to the holes in the plot, you kind of understand Superman's motivation for going after Batman because there is an ideological difference between them, supposedly. And here's another plot point that is a hole. In the beginning of the movie, Lois Lane is in the Middle East somewhere, and she's supposed to be interviewing some terrorists. In the midst of that, things go awry. The guy who's the security force for the terrorists turns on him and starts killing people, right? Then the guy takes, Lois Lane hostage because Superman comes. And Superman's intro is kind of cool. Like he's breaking, like you can hear the sonic booms going off as he's coming down. So he comes to where the guy is, and the guy's got a gun to Lois Lane's head. Now, if anybody's seen this movie, Lois Lane takes her hands off of the guy, basically takes her hands off and gives Superman a wink, and he smiles. And Superman, at super speed, goes, takes this guy out and puts him through a wall behind, like it looks like through two brick walls behind Lois Lane. That dude is dead. Superman killed that dude. There's no way that dude could be alive. So you got you got Superman killing motherfuckers. You got Batman killing motherfuckers, and at no point is that addressed. So if Batman is killing people, Superman is killing people, and also you broke General Zod's neck, so you killed him. So you already established Superman is willing to kill somebody. Why is there this big ideological rift between like why is Superman so offended by this vigilante in Gotham? Well, I don't agree with this guy. He's a one-man wrecking machine. Well, what are you? Aren't you above the law? You don't have any oversight? So why are you so upset with Batman? And the thing that really, this is why I say when you break it down and you look at the holes, you can pick this movie apart. But despite that, like I said, it's a beautiful mess because um, Batman's motivations are clear and Superman's motivations is like matter of factly. Like the part in the trailer, and I'll keep going back to the trailer because it gave away everything. When you see Superman standing there and the Batmobile bounces off of Superman, and then Batman goes into the wall or something. Superman came right in the middle of Batman trying to take down the bad guys. He's trying to take down the shipment going to Lex Luthor. So he comes in and he's standing there. He bounces off, so he goes, and you've seen the trailer. The next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go to it. The bat is dead. Bury it. Consider it so. And I'm like, wait a minute. You just stopped him from taking down the bad guys. Why? So you saw, like, in the midst of that, you let the bad guys go, and you're reprimanding Batman? You know what I'm saying? So the the motivations aren't clear on both sides. Like Superman never really wants to fight Batman. But the way they get around this is first they show that wasn't supposed to be an ideological difference, which really is no ideological difference because Superman shows that he's just as willing to kill as Batman is. So you go from that till now. I guess Superman, when he did that, he figured, well, I guess I solved that problem. No more Batman. But then the motivation becomes Lex Luthor has Clark Kent's mom holding her hostage unless he fights Batman. Okay, so then what was the purpose of having this ideological thing between Batman and Superman? What was the reason for that? Because it was rendered totally irrelevant once he started the fight because the fight was really about saving his mom. So there was really no need for any ideological or to explore that inside of this movie. Like it's not like you're dealing with the Punisher and Daredevil, which I thought was handled well. Like the Punisher says to Daredevil that I think what you do is half measures. You know, I get people, I put them down, they stay down. You get people, you lock them up, and then they're right back out doing the same thing. So it's a conflict there. There's an ideological difference there, and they're struggling, to try to maintain a relationship with each other because neither one wants to kill the other. They both feel that they're doing the right thing, but they both have their own way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And that's compelling. That's something that's interesting. In Batman versus Superman, I was expecting that. But the way that you set it up, you kind of killed it. You kind of killed it because Superman killed that dude in the very beginning of the movie. That dude is dead. There's no way in the world you can take a dude through two brick walls and he not be a complete puddle of blood on the other end. So come on, that. But the fight itself was great. Seeing all of the traps that Batman set up for Superman, seeing the way visually that it looked, it was just fantastic. And then the way that it ended, a lot of people have a problem with the way that the fight ended. Personally, I don't. I think they're making a bigger deal out of it than it really is. When he's getting ready to kill Superman with the kryptonite spear, Superman says, "You're gonna let him kill Martha." And what most people like, I saw Schmo's Nose, and their take on that was, "Oh, my mom's name was Martha. Your name is Martha. Oh, we're friends now." That's not the way I took it. What I took it as, and I think that scene was really done well. And there may be fights and arguments over that. So, I'm totally prepared because I know there's a lot of problems with that scene too that I'm going to point out after I tell you this. I think that him mentioning Martha threw Batman off. At least that's the way that it went. I think that's what Zack Snyder was trying to get at. When he threw him off by mentioning Martha, Batman logically was saying, "Well, why are you saying? Where did that come from? What do you mean?" You know what I'm saying? Like I think that and it showed when he was saying when Superman said that, Batman went back into a flashback of his mom because Superman's mom and Batman's mom are both named Martha. Okay. Um, Something that I never realized before, but that scene made me realize it. And so when that's happening, he has his foot literally on Superman's neck, getting ready to kill him. As he's asking him, "What do you mean?" He's asking, "What do you mean by that? Why did you say that?" Lois Lane is finally gets there. She stops Batman and says, "That's his mother. His mother's name is Martha. The reason why he's fighting you because they have his mother. They're trying to have his mother hostage." People leave that part out. They just make it seem as if Superman said, "Oh, Martha," and then Batman said, "Oh, wow, we should stop fighting. Now we're friends." That's not how it went down. He mentioned Martha, so Batman stopped, and he asked him, "Why did you say that?" Then Lois Lane comes. She tells Batman that Martha is his mom, and that's the reason why they're fighting. She has his mom. Lex Luthor has his mom hostage. So then why would that's a good reason for Batman to stop killing Superman. I don't understand why people had a problem with that. That's a good reason. That's a plausible reason. So it's like after that, Batman's like, "Oh shit. I'm getting ready to kill this dude, and this dude is fighting me, because they got his mom. So then that's when he gets on board. He's like, okay, I've been played. Let's go get this. Don't worry about your mom. I got it. Blah blah blah. I didn't think that that was just so jarring that it could not be understood. You know, because at one point after Lois Lane says what she says, and Batman understands what exactly is going on, he throws the spear away. You know, and then he becomes. That's when they get on the same page. Um, Batman goes to save Martha Kent, and Superman goes to get Lex Luthor. Now, another controversy is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. First, let me just say this. So, I want to preface this and add a qualifier to this commentary. Fuck Lex Luthor. As a character, I never liked Lex Luthor. I never could understand why Lex Luthor is a threat to Superman. Everybody, oh, well, he's a genius. He's a mastermind. He's intelligent. It reminds me of that scene in the Watchmen. Remember that scene between Doctor Manhattan and what was it, Ozymandias or something? The dude Adrian something. Where's the quote? He says, "I've walked across the surface of the sun, seen events so tiny and so fast that they hardly can be said to have occurred at all. But you, Adrian, are just a man, and the world's smartest man poses no more a threat to me than does its smartest termite." That's how I feel about Lex Luthor. Superman can smash Lex Luthor instantly, super speed his ass to jail at any point that he wants to. The only thing that protects Lex Luthor against Superman is not his intellect, it's kryptonite. And it's so predictable. Superman should know by now that if I'm going to face Lex Luthor, he's going to have some kryptonite on him. He should know that by now. So it's just he's just a. So this whole thing about Zack Snyder not staying true to the spirit of Lex Luthor, fuck Lex Luthor. So that's why I had no problem with Jesse Eisenberg and them flipping things and turning it around so that you're not seeing the same typical Lex Luthor that you normally see. Was his performance like Heath Ledger did the Joker? No. Did he kill it? No. But I mean, you're dealing with, to me, a weak character anyway, a weak villain as far as I'm concerned. I mean, people may like Lex Luthor, and there's been versions of him that you may like on television and in other things. But I'm saying, as a character in the Superman and as Superman's main nemesis, he leaves a lot to be desired for me, just as a character. I'm not even talking about the movie. So because I feel that way about him, his Lex Luthor didn't really offend me in any way, shape, or form because I didn't feel like this huge pressing need to have anybody stay true to the character of Lex Luthor. Fuck Lex Luthor. Fuck him. Superman is too ridiculously powered for a guy like Lex Luthor to be a threat to him. And the only threat, like I said, that Lex Luthor has is kryptonite. Other than if Lex Luthor doesn't have kryptonite, Lex Luthor's ass is going to be in jail every single time he goes against Superman. Once Superman finds out, oh, Lex Luthor's out, whoop, he, grab him up, whoop, right back to jail. End of fight. I don't give a fuck how intelligent he is. And to be honest with you, let's address the Batman versus Superman fight within itself. The entire premise of this movie is fan service. So when people talk about motivations to fight, those motivations are going to be very thin. Come on. Because technically, if Superman were to fight Batman in an all-out fight where there weren't all of these caveats involved, it would be no fight. He would kill Batman. So this is why I never was interested in like the fight between the two. Like if in a fight, in an all-out brawl, or with no stake, like where it's just them one against the other with nothing going on, no tricks in background, nobody's being held hostage or whatever, Superman is going to kill Batman. Superman is going to kill just about everybody. unless it's Doomsday or the Hulk or Thanos or some high-powered, high-level guy. Because he's overly, ridiculously overpowered. Like I've said, that's one of the reasons why I don't like that character. Now, I will say this: I like Henry Cavill. I like him as Superman. I'm totally brought into him being Superman. When I think of Superman in the cinematic universe, I think Henry Cavill. I think that he embodies what that character is. Like Superman is a Boy Scout. There's nothing that you're really gonna do to give him a lot of edge. You know what I'm saying? Like the character within itself is just. I think that Marvel and superhero movies in general are trying to like create this gray area when it comes to heroes. But Superman is not there's no gray area. He's just fundamentally good person. So you're not going to get a lot of edge to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like that character is what it is. And so within the context of that character, I think Henry Cavill does a great job. Like I think of when I think Superman, I think him. When I think Thor, I think Chris Hemsworth. I think they do their job. So that's my take on the Lex Luthor thing, and that's my take on Superman. Like I think both of those actors, I had no real problem with anybody's performance in this. Um, I like the scene where Lex Luthor set up Congress and killed everybody in the building. I like that. I like the way that went down. I like the fact that Superman got to see people die and he didn't die. Well, of course, he can't die. Like he wouldn't have died in that explosion. But just to see him still alive and everybody dead, I thought that was a powerful scene. The fight with Doomsday was eh. It was just CGI, the typical CGI explosion. Doomsday was just a typical monster. He looked like the Abomination, really. Like the same people who did the Abomination and the Hulk must have did Doomsday because it looked exactly the same. Um, they kept trying to attack him with power, like the army and stuff. And every time they would attack him, he would get stronger. Okay, we know. He started transforming during the fight. Wonder Woman um, fight against him was really good. She saved Batman and Superman's ass a few times. Like I said, she was great. Um, and as you know, and like I said, this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen this movie, please stop this. You should have shot this a long time ago. Superman dies killing Doomsday. They both killed. Superman dies, Doomsday dies. Um, I didn't have a problem with that. Like I said, the fight was all right. I didn't really have a problem or issue with it. But I still feel, and I'm going to go back to my other video, I still feel, had they not shown Doomsday, had they not shown Wonder Woman, you know what I'm saying? Had they not shown those two aspects in those trailers, and just cut out a whole lot of other stuff from the trailers, and just keep it simple and keep it teaser level, people would have walked out of this movie happy, applauding. They wouldn't have had a problem with it. They wouldn't have had a problem with it. Because had I not seen the trailer and they introduced Doomsday, then it would have been that old shit factor. The whole fight between with the three of them would have been more impactful when you see them get together. We didn't need that shot of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all together in the trailer. We did not need that. That would have been powerful. Just had we just seen it in the movie. Same thing with the Avengers. There was no need to show the Avengers and the first Avengers in a circle together. There was no need to show that. It would have been much more powerful had they not shown that in the trailer and showed it in the movie. You know? And that's my problem. These studio guys need to cut back. They need to learn. These marketing and promotional people who put these trailers together, stop giving away the fucking shop, man. You take away from the whole movie experience. And Batman, Batman and versus Superman made its money initially just based on the spectacle of it. Who knows what's going to happen in the second weekend, whether that's going to carry over. But it did make its money, and it made its money back. So that's good. And I feel that this is a nice, strong, solid entry into the DC universe. Their cinematic universe. I feel that this is a nice entry, a solid entry. Flawed entry, not perfect, but an enjoyable movie. If you go to this movie and just look at it for what it is and experience it, you're going to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is basically a joyless, humorless movie. It's not a lot. I mean, they do attempt to crack some jokes, then they fall kind of flat because the mood of the movie is very intense and very serious. It's not a lot of joy in this movie, but it is a good time. It's a well executed movie in terms of visually. Some stuff it does very well, and then some stuff it gets completely wrong. And like I said, there's some major, major plot holes in this thing. And if you want to, you can pick this movie apart. And that's why I say it's a beautiful mess. And it deserves being picked apart. You know, the people that's picking it apart and the people that's hating it, I'm not against you. You know what I'm saying? But you have a right to, because it's not a perfect movie. And if you have those big glaring plot holes, you're basically begging for a movie to be picked apart. But the people who did enjoy it and would look past those things and just experience it for what it is, you're going to have a good time. I'm on your side too. So I can see both sides of the coin on that one. So my final take on this is I gave Batman v Superman an 8. Um, really, 7.5 to 8. Not a perfect movie. Um, it is the type of movie that I would like to see again, so that's why I give it that high of a score. I would love to go and see it again because I thought it was enjoyable. I mean, it had some problems. Like I said, all of that Justice League stuff need to be taken out of the fucking movie. Take out Dawn of Justice and just have it be Batman v Superman. Had they done that with that mindset, they would have had a 10. They could have knocked this thing out of the park. It's a disappointment in that sense because I know a lot of people had high hopes for this being like a classic based on that first full length trailer. But hey, it's a solid entry. It's not. It's definitely not no 29% on the Rotten Tomatoes meter. That's absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's not Empire Strikes Back. It's not Captain America Winter Soldier. It's not either the first Iron Man. It's not on that classic level, but it is a very good, solid, enjoyable time. And that's what I take away from it. Anyway, I hope you'll like my review. And I guess I will holler at you good people later. Peace.